think we should go live now.
Mhm.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our panel at the ReFi Talents program. We will discuss about the topic ReFi Talents, training leaders in regenerative finance. The panel is hosted by the European Carbon Tokenization Association, in short ECOTA. We are a think tank connecting brains, mind-like, Esther, Nadine, Alison, Susanne. Yeah, and today we will discuss topics around regenerative finance area with specific focus on the ReFi Talents program. We want to provide you an audience with the best possible education about this young and vibrant industry. At ECOTA, we are passionate about the intersection of sustainability and blockchain technology. We want to use this combination to achieve a net zero future for our planet. And panels like these are made possible by our trusted institutional members. Thank you very much for your support. My name is Abdullah. I am the Executive Director of ECOTA and your moderator for this event. Before we start, I want to encourage you in the audience to use our chat. We prepared an agenda for this discussion, but I'm happy to talk with our panelists about your questions. Esther, Alison, Susanne, Nadine, thank you very much for joining. Let's do a quick introduction round. Esther, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Abdullah. Yeah, so my name is Esther Val, and I have a background in public policy, sustainability, and technology in different organizations, public and private, and different countries. And I entered the space, the blockchain space, in 2018 through a MBA, end of course project based on a blockchain application tracking supply chains and preventing negative social impacts. And then 2.5 years later, I joined the ReFi space through a company called Climate Coin. And I'm now supporting a number of ReFi projects one is called Crystal Trade, Impact Plus. I'm an ambassador for Ethic Hub, and I'm also working on a project with the Inter-American Development Bank to research the potential of Web3 to bring innovative finance to the Amazon forest and to preserve indigenous ways of life. And just to finalize, I joined the DeFi Talents course, so I'm not new to Web3 Talents early this year. So I've done one of the courses of the Web3 Talents program. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Esther. Susanne, would you like to go on?
Sure. Thanks, Abdullah. Yeah, I'm Susanne I'm founding partner of Venigan Ventures, and we are a climate fintech venture capital fund. And we back founders that use next frontier software technologies to accelerate the green transition. And this can be in the area of circularity software, of transition finance, but in particular in the area of nature equity. So, for example, we are an investor in Senken, which is now the largest marketplace for digitalized carbon credits. We're also an investor in Particular. Nadine is here. She's going to talk more about Particular as well, or also in the EMRV companies, Renosta or the Land Banking Group. And they use technology to precisely measure impact on nature and also build the infrastructure for nature as an asset class.
Thank you very much, Susanne. Nadine, would you like to go on?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. I'm Nadine, one of the co-founder of the so-called mentioned startup Particular. We've founded the startup exactly 1 year ago, and we are basically a mix of Moody's and Bloomberg aggregating data around tokenized real-world assets, so to say. Back then we started in the sustainability space. I'm also on a personal level, the one thing where I'm most interested on actually, because I see a lot of innovative ideas out there, a lot of great projects, a lot of new asset classes where it's about tokenizing or digitizing ecosystem services of forests and so on. And and we are analyzing, creating ratings for these tokens, for these new kind of assets. And super happy to be here today. Oh, and I also participated on the Web3 program. I think we all did.
Yes.
I participated in the DLT program, which is for women particularly. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Nadine. It's glad to have you here. And Alison, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Abdullah. My name is Alison Feller. I'm the head of innovation at Climate Collective. We are an ecosystem builder. We work with early stage startups, entrepreneurs, investors, scientists, nonprofits, who are all leveraging novel digital infrastructure like blockchain, AI, machine learning, geospatial tech, to help scale and accelerate climate and nature action. So we work in this space by bringing these stakeholders together, creating cohesion and creating opportunities for collaboration. We develop research and thought leadership on where innovation can play a role in different market mechanisms. And we do grant giving as well. So we fund that innovation as well. And like Nadine said, I was in the DLT Talents program as well. And similar to Esther, I got into this space following business school and seeing the immense potential for where new tools could help us to propel climate finance. So glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you here, Alison. So thank you very much, all of you, for the introduction. Now let's go on into the topic. I'm going to present you our ReFi Talents program, which we founded like almost half a year. And I will give you some key information about it. You are free to ask questions during the whole panel in the chat. And yeah. I hope everyone can see my screen. So the ReFi is shaping a sustainable future, and we have created the ReFi Talents program 6 months ago together with our partners, also our sponsors like Venagan, particular, Mentor Labs, as well as ECOTA and Climate Collective. The regenerative finance includes applications in the area of CO2 compensation, like ECOTA, Talo, but also like particular. They are needed to close our funding gap of 8 trillion until 2050 to fight climate change. And I would like to ask my panelists, what would you like to add into the slide for our panelists so they have the best information about this? Susanna, would you like to give us your point to the slide?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yeah. How would you describe the regenerative finance area? So,
okay.
In your words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think there's always a slightly different definition of it. So how we as Venagan Ventures define it, this is also basically our investment thesis, an area what we look at. It's basically the intersection between two megatrends. One is the megatrend of the third wave of the internet, this new technologies family that is basically going to have a tremendous transformational power, and it's based on blockchain, obviously, but also on artificial intelligence. It's enabling machine economy and so on. So this is one big megatrend, and it basically coincides with another big megatrend, which is the green transition. And luckily, because this is, of course, the biggest problem that we as a society have is climate change. And the third wave of the internet technologies, they provide the most powerful tools we have in order to develop solutions to tackle this crisis.
Thank you very much, Susanna. It was a nice explanation. About the structure of the ReFi Talents program, it's a guided and self-managed learning approach. First, we have the application process. It's open for anyone to apply, and we usually select 200 candidates per cohort. Afterwards, we'll go into the sessions. So we have 10 sessions over 18 weeks, where each session also includes a guest speaker, and every participant has to prepare assignments about specific topics. And we will go into breakout rooms with our talents, and at the end of the program, our talents who finish the whole requirements during the program will receive a certificate about the finish of the program itself. And we can see here another overview about the fact sheets. So the target groups are ambitious, engaged innovators, so young professionals, but also senior level and also managers. Duration is 18 weeks with 3 phases. Basic phase about the most necessary informations in the ReFi area. Afterwards, we went into the multidisciplinary phase. And at the current stage of the ReFi Talents program, we are in session 8 and we are already finishing the program and now in the concentration phase. The cost per participant, the costs are free of charge. That means every participant receives a scholarship for which an application is required. And this is financed by our sponsors. For example, like particular mentor labs, Venegan, ECOTA, as well as Climate Collective. Intake size are 200 participants per cohort, and we will do 2 cohorts per year. And yeah, the patronage is Dr. Philip Sandner, who founded all of these talent programs. And a quick overview of where our participants are working at. So we have companies like Dr. Oetker, a traditional German one, also like a lot of banks, Deutsche Bank, Commerzbank, consultancies like Boston Consulting Group, PwC, as well as new Web3 companies like Tangany, but also companies like Shell. And yeah, they're from all over the world. Our participants participate from all over the world. So they are locally, but also the network is very big in this area. We have finished 7 sessions, and every session we had very nice speaker there. And here we can see our guest speakers. One of them, no, 2 of them are already here in the team, like Nadine and Alison. Alison will have the next guest speaker session in the next session 1. And I would like to ask our panelists about the experience so far with our guest speakers. So who was your favorite? What have you learned from them? And yeah, I would like to ask Esther, what was your best experience during this cohort with the ReFi Talents guest speakers?
Yeah, thank you, Abdullah. I think I'm biased because I put forward one of the 2 of the speakers. One which has already been on the course, which is Jerónimo Calderón, known also under the name of Teku, his spiritual name. And I think the reason why I invited him to join the course was because to me it's very important, having been in the sustainability CSR world for a number of years. It's important that we emphasize the need to work on individual regeneration, on values. What values underlie this movement, Web3 movement? How do we make the shift from an extractive mindset to a regenerative mindset? So this is what counts and what make movements, impact-focused movements, stay the course. Otherwise, I've been through the motions of all these different movements, and it's always a human factor which fails, which leads the movement to claims of greenwashing and false claims, because the underlying foundation hasn't been worked. And that's what Jerónimo Calderón Teku helped us realize, to reflect more deeply into what sustains, this regenerative finance. He is someone who straddles 2 different worlds. As he said, he has studied in elite universities in Boston, Paris, and Geneva. And he had, he has a background of, he was born in Switzerland, but he has lineage in the Andes as well. So he has these 2, he has grown up with these 2 different perspectives. So he was saying that he had to re-educate himself, having been to all these elite universities, with the, indigenous peoples, part of his heritage. So he helped us see, how these 2 worlds can be complementary. and what we need to learn in the West, from indigenous peoples, which is that connection with nature, that connection with each other, building relationships, long-term relationships of trust. And I think it was to me, it was my favorite, because I think it helped us all do this, reflection collectively. We step out of our comfort zone, and he offered the students to do an internship with them in the Amazon, to change perspectives, because one of the criticisms that I'm doing this research for the IDB. I'm interviewing leaders in indigenous communities, that they say that technologues, ReFi entrepreneurs don't understand what's happening in the ground, don't understand nature, don't understand the Amazon ecosystem. So he offered an opportunity to one of our students to go and spend some time there in order to understand and connect those two worlds.
Yeah, thank you very much, Esther. I had also great experience with Geronimo, with Taki. And yeah, Nadine, you have been a guest speaker at the first session. How was your experience from the guest speaker side?
Yeah, thank you. I guess I was nervous because, of course, I was the first one, and I was like, oh, how can I, introduce everybody into the program, so to say. And but it was a fun experience, and I was really overwhelmed, like how many people attended. I think was almost 200 at that time, who were listening and being excited that the program starts. And and it was great. I felt like people understand what I'm doing. They asked a lot of great questions. And I also felt like they've been really, really active. Also in the before you mentioned it before, every speaker has to present. We have those breakout sessions where everybody is presenting their homeworks, and I think this was also the first session where it was kind of like more like an introduction round, of course. And I was really fascinated, like who's attending and why. And yeah, so it was a great experience. And I was also great that you brought Geronimo or Tiku, Esther, because I thought it was quite interesting, a quite interesting experience, because honestly, I'm not as spiritual, I think. But I think it was there were some great thoughts, which we are sometimes missing when we are just focusing, on business or on innovative things. And sometimes we forget that we also have to think on a personal level, and also our personal ikigai. I think this was great when the participants also talked about this topic.
I think that's been a real benefit of the types of speakers that the program has brought together, right? We have speakers who can bring people closer to that topic of personal regeneration. Esther or Nadine, you did a great job of kicking us off and bringing us all together and introducing what Particula does. But we've also had groups like the World Food Program Innovation Accelerator and startups like the Land Banking Group and others show us where from different, public and private institutions and sectors is this market evolving, and how can you get involved from any different angle. So I think there's been a real diversity of types of speakers, and showing us how everyone can play a role in this space.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think it was also all of our intention with the guest speakers to really show basically what's happening, to see what the founders are doing, so how is really basically technology applied in the ReFi space, and that it's not a niche anymore, that is really basically growing into more established areas. So just hearing about the customers that, for instance, the Land Banking Group already has, or that the World Food Program is actually already working with, for instance, blockchain innovation and helping lots of people. So yeah, this was definitely our intention to motivate and to show what's there and what's possible, and to hopefully motivate more participants to join the ranks of innovators.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. We have also some participants in our audience who said Bernhard from the United Nations World Food Program was one of the best experience yet. And yeah, but to go back to the understandings for the audience about the ReFi Talents program idea itself. So like a half year ago, I think even more, so like 7 months, our partners, Venegan, as well as Particular Climate Collective, well, they came up to us with the idea of the ReFi Talents program to the ECOTA team, and we already had 4 talent programs before at the Web3 Talents itself. So like DLT program, DeFi Talents, NFT Talents, Bitcoin Talents, who were launched. Like I think the first was the DLT Talents was launched 2017. For me myself, I was at the DeFi Talents program. I was participant there, and the biggest experience for myself was that I had the opportunity to connect with the people in the area, not only with the talents, but also with the sponsors, who helped me afterwards getting a job in this area as a consultant. And I would like to ask my panelists, so what was the idea of founding the ReFi Talents program?
Yeah, so as we all already thought out, we all are basically alumni of the Web3 Talents programs, and I think to probably all of us, it had definitely had some impact. For me, I was part of the very first cohort of DLT Talents, and for me, the program really helped me to basically jump and get all into investing in next-gen frontier technology. I left a corporate job. I was basically through the program very much motivated to build a footprint, to engage in the community. And so it was very powerful for me, and I also did more programs than the DeFi Talents program and the NFT Talents program and so on. So I think we all know how powerful these programs can be. And at the same time, we also saw in the market that there is basically a big movement, also especially coming from tech enthusiasts in for instance, in the blockchain area, who are really hungry for purpose, for real world impact. And so this basically ReFi movement has formed. And at the same time, there's a huge interest in this area, but from what we've seen is that the general knowledge, either in technologies or in climate change, is rather limited, let alone of both together. And so we thought, yeah, this is such a great program. There has to be a ReFi Talents program. And so we teamed up, and funny enough, when we talked to each other, we found out that we actually had the same idea. Also, for instance, when we talked to particular, there was basically no excuse anymore not to bring this program to life. Yeah, and so we approached Philipp Sandner, who was super helpful, and the entire team of the Frankfurt School and of ECOTA. Yeah, they made it happen. So yeah, that was really great, and I'm really really happy to see basically what has grown out of this initial idea.
Yeah, also just to heads up to Tim, my co-founder, because he was the main driver in the beginning of all of that. I was the one who said it would be so great. I'm not sure how we can handle that because of course in the beginning we hadn't all those great people on our side to support that. And the Frankfurt School Blockchain Center also said, hey, we are pretty busy with our programs we have right now, and we said, yeah, but we really want that. and I knew back then, and I think when we had the thought about that, it was already December last year, where we talked about it would be great to have such a program, because I felt like there was like a huge information gap, and there was not really a crossover of those different disciplines, like the economic side, the developer tech side, their sustainability side, and they sometimes don't have a clue of each other, that they're kind of like building on similar projects, or they even don't know that there's for instance, a way of using blockchain as infrastructure and creating climate solutions yet. And this, I think, was for us, or for us as particular, the thought where we thought, okay, it would be great to have more education in that term and bring the people together.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that there was an embryonic ReFi Talents group within the DeFi Talents course I did this year. So there was on the Slack, some of us, 10 of us got together because we wanted to, talk about DeFi applied to social impact. So that was probably the embryonic, and then team, like Nadine said, approached me to join the core team. And I think we were all thinking along the same lines. And then someone said the word. It was probably Tim and Nadine who actually verbalized it. And we had all identified that gap that, everyone, ReFi is a very nascent movement, so a year and a half or so old. So everyone was very excited, but there was a need to come up with a curriculum, a course, which could systemize, structure, and consolidate, that knowledge, to bring together people, with a multidisciplinary background, like you said, not to bridge all those different spaces, worlds which were not talking to each other, sustainability, finance, climate science, sociology, etc., economics, regenerative economics, and come up with common language, because up to now, even now, ReFi is still a bit in flux, it's normal, it's nascent, so we needed a course like ReFi Talents to, start converging on a common definition of ReFi and what all the potential coming out of ReFi, for climate change, for biodiversity, for social justice, what good can come out of it if we all come together from within ReFi and also Web3, and outside Web3, which I think it's also one of the successes of ReFi Talents, that it has managed to reach out to people outside Web3, outside of blockchain, so that Web2 and Web3 can reinforce each other and create something which has impact on the ground.
I really like those points, Esther. I think you're spot on. This space has been really organically growing for the last several years, and there have been noteworthy groups who have created community in this space. ReFi DAO has brought entrepreneurs together through their founders circles. Kernel is another educational community, learning community that's brought together folks to talk more about philosophy and social structures. But I think you're right, to help take this to another scale of awareness and to help call in folks from outside of the Web3 community and raise awareness on where these tools and these technologies can help to share benefits for the green transition, for increasing the transparency and verifiability of climate data, and for mobilizing more climate finance with higher levels of trust. I think it was really important that we do construct those bridges and help to raise awareness for these tools in a very structured way. So I totally agree with you there.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we are almost, we got half an hour done. So we have 15 minutes left. The time is rushing. And it made so many fun to discuss with you, the whole topics. Another question is, so what surprised you with the ReFi Talents program? And where do you see the potentials of the program?
I think the level of engagement has been really inspiring. I know I care a lot about this space, but seeing 200 people show up, every other week, and not only, consume the content in their own time, but show up having done the homework, having, being ready to engage in the conversation, and further this learning is great. I think, Abdullah, you were sharing some stories with us earlier about how it's been one of the most engaged cohorts that you've seen in all of these different programs that the Frankfurt School has hosted. So I'm really encouraged by that.
So someone else want to add something about the potential or things that surprised you at the cohort?
Yeah, I'm very happy to. So surprised, I mean, definitely the level of engagement and also like the gratefulness of the participants for the learning journey, and so that was really great. In terms of purpose of this course, I mean, it's of course it's the one is to convey the knowledge, the other is to basically form communities. But basically the overall overarching goal, and this has been achieved many times in previous ReFi Talents programs, is really to motivate the participants to dedicate either partly or fully their career to the space. And I think this is particularly important, of course, now that we have like this big overarching mission that we're all on trying to help accelerate the green transition. So this is definitely something that we also hope will happen in following this cohort, that people team up, get together, innovate together, or people who haven't been active in the space will get active. That's definitely a part. And of course, so what we did is we put in the assignments and the pieces of information and everything that helped us understand the space the most, and also that fascinated us the most. And we hope that it will have the same effect with the participants.
Yeah, thank you, Susanne. Nadine, what fascinated you at the most of the program? So, which always keeps in your mind?
Yeah. So most things I thought it's great. I wasn't surprised because I already figured as I have attended DLT Talents that it must be maybe similar, like because in the other programs they were also really engaged and did their homework and so on and so on. But yeah, I think what I really liked is I think it was also one of maybe it was probably the first session we had, and in the breakout session where we all introduced us, and I had some people who had a deep tech background, so they were basically a developer. They were really known about blockchain infrastructure, DeFi. They also attended other programs, Bitcoin Talents and so on. So they were super smart in that regard. And on the other side, I had the people coming from, I don't know, from some corporate or consultancies working in sustainability, and I have no idea like what DeFi really is, how it works. And it was funny that these I would say two type of people like crushed into each other and started to basically exchange thoughts and explain things to each other. And I think that was like the ultimate goal. And also see like so many companies, right? Consultancies, big corporates. I mean, you showed the slide. So basically, like every industry was or has attended, and this is, I think, this surprised me a lot.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. So there was one session which surprised me a lot. So where I had the feeling of okay, well, that's different. So the session with Geronimo with Teco, where he said, please close all your eyes. And I was moderating the session and I looked through the people of the cameras, and there were so many people who participated with him at this at this task of closing the eyes, going inside in the Ichigo. And it did surprise me a lot because so many people have closed their eyes and worked with Teco together. And it was really a great moment for me. And is that?
Absolutely. No, I was just going to underline or agree with you that it was a magical moment where he warned that we were going to be uncomfortable for a while, and I think we were all uncomfortable. We're not sure what was going to happen next. So because we are so used to do, be on that mode, always on the go. So he challenged us to pause, close our eyes and just be present, for 5-10 minutes. Yeah. For some, it felt very long. It felt like an hour. For some, it just felt very, very short. But I think we were, he took us by surprise, and think everyone engaged. Everyone is open. That's what I've noticed, and what makes me happy about this ReFi Talents, that people have shown that openness to experiment and to push boundaries.
So we have 10 minutes left, and I still have a few questions and points. So there's one point about the ReFi Talents compared to the other talents programs. Nadine mentioned before that you didn't have so much helping from the Blockchain Center at the beginning, but now the ReFi Talents program is fully integrated into the Blockchain Center, because it's the second best programs which are currently running. So this also responds to ourselves that we are doing a great job of the ReFi Talents, that the people are really taking part into the sessions. So the attendance quote of the ReFi Talents program is very high. So we started with 200 participants with the cohort, and usually 50% of the participants didn't attend it at the normal programs in the 6 or 7 session, but we still have a quote of 70-80%. So this is a very great number. And this is only made possible by our sponsors. The program is free for our participants. They don't have to pay for this, but the costs have to be calculated. And the program's only been possible by our sponsors, so like Climate Collective, Mental Labs, Venagan, as well as ECOTA. And I would like to ask one of our main sponsors, so Alison, what was the experience as a sponsor and your expectations? And why did Climate Collective sponsor the ReFi Talents program?
Sure. Well, going back, a few steps to what we spoke about before, what is ReFi and how do we define this? What is regenerative finance? At Climate Collective, we think of this in terms of an opportunity to realign economic and environmental value, to create new economies that can allow us to pursue our climate goals and to meet the needs, meet our net zero transition. And the only way that we can do that is if we engage with the tools of our economy, the tools of our value exchange. So a great way to do this is by engaging financial institutions, like you showed earlier, Abdullah. The participants in this program come from accounting backgrounds, from financial institutions, from consulting, from business and other types of enterprise. It's really important that we engage with businesses and institutions to raise awareness around the green transition, around net zero goals, and around what tools can help them and allow them to help their clients to not only better measure their climate risks, but help to deliver and mitigate those risks as well. So that comes down to having a better awareness and transparency around climate data, how portfolios are exposed to climate data, understanding where we can invest in digital environmental assets to help to drive decarbonization and help to preserve nature and prevent biodiversity loss. So all of these tools, by raising awareness with audiences who work in financial industries and in capital markets, can help us to accelerate their adoption, help us to put them into use, and help us to transition our economy to a more green and sustainable system. And as that takes upskilling. Like we said before, we have a major skills gap in this space. We rapidly need to call in more folks to be working on climate in their everyday work. And everyone has a different skill, a different advantage, and a different strength to contribute to this. We need folks from media, from finance, we need journalists, we need people working with communities. So there's always a different angle that you can take, but we need to start bridging that gap in terms of climate awareness and looking deep inside, looking personally into your skills and your talents to say, where can I contribute? So supporting programs like this that allow people to think about their own role and think about how they could contribute to fighting climate change is one of the major reasons that we were supporting this program. Having been in the DLT Talents program myself, I know what the standards for engagement were like, and I knew that it was a really wonderful and engaging program, and it allows you to really dive deep and focus in this area for several months. So I knew it was a really high value program already. So we were very happy to contribute there. And as a participant now on the back end, I'm getting the opportunity to contribute as a mentor to share what I've learned in this space from my work with Climate Collective and work with all the wonderful people on this call. And that's a great way to kind of give back to the community as well and help to bring others into this space that I was just entering several years ago. So I think it's a great way to pay it forward and to help bridge that skills gap, help bridge the financing gap, and get engaged and share others the mission that you're working on.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have 5 minutes left, and I would like to read a few feedbacks from our participant. We have started a question to ask our participants, hey, what would you say about the program? Please give us some feedback. And for example, Afina, she loves the program itself. So, and the most guest speakers, Sutung, she said the ReFi Talents is a really welcoming and inspiring community. Or especially appreciate the resource that people post in the Zoom chat during the session. And the question of why did she participate, that she want to learn more about Web3 projects, working on social media and economic sustainability. And the impression from Cheng so far was nice. During the assignment, we kept ourselves updated on the latest developments. So we do at the beginning of every session news topic. And yeah, we have here a few more feedback to our program. So Monica said that the structure, entry, and overview into the new market, and that it's very nice for entrepreneurs and experts in the field of regenerative finance. And yeah, but the sessions didn't end it yet. We have 3 sessions left. And now we are going to the final assignment in the next session. For the audience, the participants from the ReFi Talents, you will get to know this on Monday. And it will be about an article which you have to draft. And every participant have to draft this article. It's required to receive the certificate at the end. On the other side, they're also allowed to prepare pitch decks or capstone project. And for me, myself, I prepared an article about the use case of DLT in Treasury. I think it was 2 years ago. And I published it, and my employee at this time, he found it very nice, and he asked me if he could use this article for trade journals. And they made a public article about it. So that was my experience with the last assignment. It helped me a lot also for my networking. And we have a few participants here also, like Alison, Esther, Susanne. How was your experience with your final assignment? I think, Susanne, you told me previously that you started your social media with your final assignment. Would you like to know?
Yes, exactly. No, this is very true, because I wasn't a social media user at all, but this was really the first time that I because this was also required not only to write the article but also to post it on LinkedIn or on other social media channels. And so I did this. It was a bit nerve-wracking in the beginning, of course. I think this is everybody who starts to post on LinkedIn thinks it's a bit awkward in the beginning. But it turned out to be really a game changer for me, because I started engaging. I started also documenting what I was working on. And so actually I got my first job after I left the corporate job, basically through LinkedIn. And also I now use it and I see it as a very valuable tool to basically document everything we are doing, to communicate, and we reach portfolio companies, we reach investors. And so for us, it's super valuable tool, and I think this can be for everyone. And so I just encourage everyone to take the assignments seriously, and especially the last assignment, and start engaging and start building your footprint.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have to make a cut here because we are already over the time. There are a few questions in the audience, which I also want to mention. The next cohort will probably start in the mid of next year. With 2 cohorts, we will open the applications soon. And we are waiting for a lot of applicants because the request is so high, also from the last applications. And yeah, so thank you very much for this great panel discussion. So Alison, Esther, Nadine, Susanne, thank you very much for joining us and for building up the ReFi Talents program itself. And also thank you to the audience. I hope you enjoyed this event. You can follow ECOTA on LinkedIn, Twitter, and so that you don't miss any of our upcoming events, as well as please like ReFi Talents to stay up to date with the development in the area. And if you're an individual, you can join ECOTA as an expert or fellow, and your organization can join also the ReFi Talents or ECOTA as a sponsor to help us building up the program even better. And yeah, thanks everyone. And I say, yeah, great session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abdullah.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.